Hi everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another card making video tutorial. Today we are going to be creating these awesome postage collage cards using brand new products from the Waffle Flower July 2023 release. These are absolutely incredible. As you can see, these are postage collage stencils with coordinating dies. There's 3 different options available. Plus, this release contains the new grid mats. These are fantastic. They come in many different sizes. And for full details on how these work, I highly recommend jumping over to the Waffle Flower YouTube channel and watching Nina talk about these. I picked the one that fits in the MISTI. I'm just simply pulling it from the backing sheet right now. These are made of photopolymer and the same thing that our stamps are made of, and it's going to be a grip mat. So it fits in your MISTI, it replaces the black foam, and it's going to hold everything in place. Fantastic for not having to use your magnets. It is fantastic for stenciling, as you're going to see me use here. It just works really, really well. You can use them with their media mats and all of that. So definitely a fantastic new addition to the Waffle Flower lineup and to your crafting room. I am going to start with my favorite product from the release, which is the collage coloring stencils. This is the Christmas collage. I love all 3 of the stencils. We will be combining the postage collage coloring stencil with this, which I'll show in a little bit. And then I'm going to also use some other brand new products from this release, and we'll do an everyday card next. I am using Distress Oxide inks to do my stencil layering on some Desert Storm craft cardstock. I wanted to do a different kind of base rather than white for this first card, and so I decided to use the Oxide so that the color really pops. I love how it looks on here, and the layering of these stencils, you guys, is just incredible. You're going to see the amazing details come to life right before your eyes. Now you can use this all as one piece. You can cut them apart, which I will show you for the second card. We're going to leave it as one piece for the first card, but on the second, I am going to cut them apart. Tons of ways to use these, tons of ways to customize. Really, absolutely incredible. I thought this was just one of the most amazing products I had seen in a while. Love, love, love these. Don't use the sharp end on your photopolymer there. I'm going to use the little spatula end. So there is what we've got. Now you can die cut first if you want to. I opted to leave my A2 panel 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches because it lines up with the grid lines on the stencil. I think if I do this particular stencil again around the reindeer when I'm doing the background, I would use the picket fence pouncers rather than a blending brush because it was really hard to go around the antlers because they're not held down. So I did want to mention that because it was a little point that I found a little difficult, or use some sort of pouncing tool to apply that color. I did use some Post-it tape to help mask off as I am switching colors in between each postage stamp, as you can see here. And I wish I would have done anything I wanted to do in white before I did all of this color as well, which you'll see in different sections. The stencils are labeled so you know how to stencil them in order, which I find very, very helpful. I think that these are just, as you can see, innovative, amazing, great layering stencils. The detail is absolutely incredible. Now, if you are going to ink with white ink, don't take your blending brush back to your ink pad. See how it has green on it? My suggestion is to use a glass mat. I use the lid of my MISTI and press some white ink into a palette of some sort. An acrylic block would work, and then pick the ink up from there. So in the future now, You can see I've got some white ink on the lid of my MISTI. It's kind of up almost out of the screen, but that is so I am not transferring an ink color to my white pigment ink pad. My new grip mat is so sticky, I'm just having to lift it up, but it's not tearing anything at all. I actually really appreciate that because I'm not having to worry that my stencils or my paper are going anywhere. Okay, you can see the detail coming to life. So amazing. I'm adding a second color of red to the poinsettia. I wasn't sure if it would show up really great, but it totally did. So I love that. Very excited. The tree trunk I'm doing in brown. So I just did a little creative masking there. I'm also going to do some ground espresso. I did gather twigs for my reindeer. I'm going to do ground espresso for the detail, and then we'll do some lumberjack plaid for the color that the reindeer is wearing. Really easy to see, very easy to use. Just super impressed with this product altogether. When I saw this, I could not wait to create with it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. And that was where I wished I'd done the white first. I had to wipe away a little bit of that brown ink on my stencil so I didn't accidentally pick it up. You could also use glitter pastes or gels for portions of your stenciling, as long as you don't mind the wait time for letting those dry before you move on to the next step. But I think that would be a really fun addition. Oh my gosh, look at it, you guys. Coming to life. So the antlers there on the reindeer were the only thing I had trouble with, and I do think that if I had done more of a pouncing motion rather than the regular blending brush, because part of the antlers moved, you can see, and didn't leave space for some of those leaves. Now that's okay because we're using Oxide inks, and I think the ink will cover it up, but I did want to make note of that. Because even the peacock feathers is going to go over the green tree perfectly. I love that there's like some layering on the deer as well. Just the detail, look at all of the little detail here. I hope you guys are excited about this set as I am. Let's do a little fossilized amber in a few spots, because I just think this is the most amazing set. All of these sets are super awesome. I will be combining for my second card the collage, the postage collage layering stencils and then the everyday stencils, and I'll show you that when we get there. You definitely don't have to use them together, but I did want to show how you can kind of customize it and use the exact blocks that you want or postage stamps that you want. Okay. Little hickory smoke I think is going to round this out, and then we are going to use the postage collage die to die cut this. Probably my favorite. So this looks amazing. You can see all the little blocks, you can see all the little scenes, but we definitely need the detail. So here is our die. And I'm going to run over to my die cutting machine, and I am going to die cut my postage stamps. I'm just kind of gauging here for my next steps. That's what I was doing with the postage collage stencils. So once I have die cut my panel, I'm going to take a second A2 sized craft cardstock panel and place that right here in my MISTI on the grip mat. Look at that, you guys. Look at the detail. Is this not absolutely incredible? And I'm going to take that second piece of cardstock now, the postage collage stencil, and I'm going to create the border. Oh, did I do my stamping first? Maybe I did my stamping first. Sorry, I thought I did the border. So this is the coordinating stamp set called Postage Collage. And as you can see, it's got all kinds of stamps, stamp prices, all kinds of things you can use to customize your postage stamps. And this is what takes it up another level. So we've got like the cancellation marks. It's just so cute. I am using a black ink and I'm stamping this just kind of all over off the edge. You're going to see me really just add all of this stuff. We're basically creating a decorative postage stamp background. Like this is a sheet of postage stamps and we're then going to pop it onto our card base, add a sentiment and a small embellishment, and that is it. Because we want this beautiful collage background to be the star of the show. I did end up using acrylic blocks to do this rather than using my MISTI. You can do it any way you prefer, but like the prices of the stamps and things, some of these images are really small and I almost find it easier to use an acrylic block rather than use the MISTI. Sometimes with the MISTI, you know how hard it is to line it up. And so I often will just go ahead and use acrylic blocks for anything small like this. I am stamping it right on the grip mat inside of my MISTI. It gives me a fantastic base. My cardstock is held in place. I'm not having to worry about it shifting or moving as I am applying or stamping all of these little cancellation or postage stamp images. So that works really, really well. Oh my gosh, how cute is this? I just cannot get over how absolutely amazing this set is. I hope you guys are as excited about it too. Definitely drop me a note down in the comments. Let me know what your favorite products are from the release. Let me know what you'd like to see from the release in future videos. And I do want to let you know that this release is brought to you on July 5th, 2023. And the Friday Live on July 7th, 2023 will feature the July 2023 release. So let me know if there's something specific from this that you want to see, and I will try to work that in. So now I am using this stencil from the Postage Collage stencil for the border. For the border only. And I know it's going to be kind of hard to see here. I'm doing white first. It's a two-part stencil and it gives you that awesome effect. Now, I know it looks kind of messy because I didn't mask off the center, but I didn't worry about it because it's going to be covered up. You're not going to see it. We're going to take that whole panel that we just stenciled and place it right over the top. So while I'm not necessarily going right over it and stenciling all the design because there's no need, I'm not worried if there is a little bit of shading inside there. Oh yeah, that's going to be cute. I did peel it up to look a little bit. So I did a white pigment ink and lumberjack plaid. And I'm using a pretty heavy hand now with my lumberjack plaid. I want that to show up really well. And when I bring the panel over to this, I think you're going to see how awesome this looks. Oh my gosh, that is exactly what I was hoping for. Oh, I love it. Okay, we are going to creatively place some foam adhesive on the back of our panel. We do want to avoid any of those little sections, you know, where the stamps quote unquote tear apart. And so because of that, I want to make sure my foam is just kind of under each individual postage stamp, and then I'm going to pop it up right in the center. I'm taking this Holiday Lights die now, and I'm taking like the holly leaves and berries from this, and I have another piece of craft cardstock, and I am actually just inking it with lumberjack plaid and our rustic wilderness colors, and I'm going to die cut the leaves and berries from this. This is going to be an accent that goes around our sentiment on our card. Then I've got a Merry Christmas And this comes from the Elegant Christmas stamp set, and there are coordinating dies for this. Black cardstock using clear embossing ink. I did use a powder tool first to help keep the embossing powder right on that elegant greeting. Heat embossed with white embossing powder, and then we will die cut with the coordinating die. And it took me a minute to figure out which one it was, but we got there in the end. No, that does not line up. And I'm going to run that over to my die cutting machine and die cut that. I'm just using a little Spellbinders yellow tape to hold this in place and run it through my machine. I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of this. I do want to buff off any powder that might be remaining on my sentiment. We'll pop that up right in the center here, and I was kind of creative with my foam. I had to cut it apart a few times just so that it fits back behind my greeting perfectly. We want to put this kind of through the center of the card. I feel like that's going to be the least intrusive, where you still get to see all the awesome postage stamps, and then we'll embellish around that with our pretty little holly berry. The foam does give it a nice little extra added bit of dimension and helps it pop off of that busy background. I just love the red and white border. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's so cute. So again, popping up our holly and berries, and I'm going to layer all those pieces on, the extra leaf, and then of course the berries, and we will finish the berries with a layer of glossy accents. While our glossy accents is drying, I'm going to take a white side fold card base and use an inside Christmas greeting to stamp a greeting for the inside of my card. I love these. These are a fantastic way to finish off your card design. So for this one, I decided to die cut the postage collage first. And I've got our postage collage layering stencils as well as the everyday stencils. I'm going to start with the base. So this is if you want to create a base color for all of those postage stamps designs. I'm going to use some KITSCH Flamingo Distress Oxide ink first, and I'm going to do just a few of the blocks. I wasn't sure that I want to do all of them yet, and I'm looking at my stencils to gauge, to decide what I want to do. Now, another option would have been to stencil this panel a few times and then kind of really mix and match all of the different postage stamps, but I wanted to get all of the components for the card I want to create out of this one panel, and that is why I'm mixing the two together for this card. So we're going to grab our everyday stencils, and I definitely want to use some of the hearts. I also like the hands holding the heart and the envelopes. So let me see. I'm going to take my postage collage stencil and some candied apple ink, and we're going to do these hearts, and that's it for that block, and that looks good. That's exactly what I wanted. Then we're going to take our everyday, and for this I'm going to do the envelopes. So the two postage stamps with the envelopes. I'm really concentrating on just these three postage stamps first. So on the first card where I did the postage stamps exactly in order as they are, this is where you can customize that. And you could do this for any of these postage stamps, postage collage. You can mix and match however you like. So now I want to create the background. And of course, I don't want to use the solid background for the hands holding the heart because I want to be able to ink the arms and the heart separately and not have to go over the top of another color. Same with this leaf. The leaf is very similar to the reindeer antlers where it's a little hard to hold on to. Probably should have used a pouncer for that one again. And the middle bottom, I took a while to decide what to do, and I ultimately do stencil that rose, and I love it. I'm just going to do like a hickory smoke color over the envelope flap to help it stand out. And then we're going to go back to our lumberjack plaid or candied apple and fill in a few other little things here and there. Look at those hands holding the hearts, so cool. I took whatever brown ink was left on my ink blending brush and very lightly went over this. That was perfect. Love how that turned out. And I did end up doing my leaf in red. I just felt for my design, I really didn't want a green leaf for this particular card, and that's totally fine. You can make your card whatever you want. So now I'm going to go ahead and fill in this last postage stamp with KITSCH Flamingo, and then we'll build the rose on top with candied apple and lumberjack plaid. We also will need to add the layering for the leaf. It does give the leaf a two-tone look, which is awesome. I don't know why I put off this rose. It's absolutely gorgeous and ended up being one of my favorites. Now I am showing examples. Both of my cards today do use multiple postage stamps, but you could just feature one. You could make this and cut them apart and make several cards that each feature a stamp or two, or use it as part of the rest of your design. So now I'm going to peel off my stencils. I love how this looks. We're going to pop this up, and then I'm going to take my scissors, and I like to use a long pair of shears here, and we are going to, oh no, we need to stamp all of our cancellation marks and things first. So I am going to stamp all of those things. I'm just going to get rid of some of these little dots. Part of the problem with die cutting at first is you end up with all of these little dots everywhere. Wetting my finger helped the most. And I am just going to speed through this, very similar to the first card, where I'm just going to kind of scatter these all over, keeping in mind that I will be cutting these apart. Now you could leave this panel exactly like this, just like I did for the Christmas card, but I wanted to really show the versatility and how you can cut them apart to use them differently. On another 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch panel, I'm going to take the layering Bokeh stencil set. We're going to use KITSCH Flamingo, Candied Apple, and Lumberjack Plaid to build a coordinating background for our card. I'm using whatever ink is left on my pink ink blending brush from the KITSCH Flamingo earlier. Again, using that grip mat in my MISTI, you can see how well it holds my stencils in place. Absolutely love this product. And now the candied apple. What I love about this stencil set is it does say light, medium, and dark along the top, as well as tell you the order to do these in, which I find very helpful. There's no guesswork involved at all. And here is our final stencil. And when I peel this up, you're going to see how beautiful this background is. I also really love seeing the difference between the red Distress Oxide inks. You can definitely tell the difference between Lumberjack Plaid and Candied Apple. Gives you a beautiful kind of tone-on-tone effect, which I'm a huge fan of. And there is our background. Okay, now we are going to cut apart our postage stamps and we are going to pop them in place on our card. I'm just lining up those long shears, and I realize that's not going to work. Let's go this way. And I'm going to cut them all apart. I used all but one on my card, and I just need to lay them out and figure out the collage that's going to look best. And then I did end up popping them up with foam adhesive, as that gives a nice little bit of dimension and helps them pop off of the background. Speed up the video while I figure out my placement, add my foam adhesive, and then ultimately add these strip greetings. These are also from Waffle Flower. I picked 2 for this. I think they'll stand out perfect. You can see that I am just going to piece or kind of lay out, my postage stamps. And I accidentally adhered these too low. Thank goodness I didn't press them down too much because I peeled them up and was able to move them up a little bit. There we go. And then I will pop up the strips with foam adhesive as well. To finish both of my cards, I'm going to take some glossy accents and add a little bit of additional glossy accents to a few areas. So we added it to the holly berries on our first card. We're going to add it to some hearts and also the nose on our reindeer. We're going to take a black jelly roll pen and add detail to our reindeer's nose for this one. Look how awesome this looks. I love it so much. And for whatever reason, my glossy accents kept clogging, so just had to take a pen and get the clog out. I think that the glossy accents will really help that heart stand out. I'm not going to do too many areas, just a couple here and there. And you can see that the berries are dry on the Christmas card. Oh my gosh, you guys, so much fun. And there, that black helps the eyes stand out on our reindeer really nicely. You could use that for the nose if you wanted to as well. I'm going to use my pen to kind of get rid of any air bubbles. And that is it. I'm going to place both of these on card bases if I haven't already, and these cards are finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for these postage collage cards featuring brand new products from the Waffle Flower July 2023 release. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today for another paper crafting tutorial. I love being able to share with this incredible community of crafters. I want to give a huge shout out and special thank you to my amazing Patreon members. If you're interested in joining Patreon, please click the link in the description underneath the video here on YouTube. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do. There's exclusive content. You'll receive a handmade birthday card from me during your birthday month, monthly lives for my top tier patrons, and more. We would love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click the like button, and don't forget to click the notification bell so you're always notified when I have a video or go live. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you again next time.